Hello there, it is Friday. This is Shane with Shane's Books and Review, and I hope you are having a great day today. Speaking of which, I hope you had a great week too. So today you guys have decided that we're going to talk about Zero G, the Audible original, wrote by Dan Wells. And so here's what we need to talk about. First off, the story follows this little innocent kid. Zero G, that's not his real name, but he's a bit of a prankster in the beginning of the book, but that plays out through the book in a good way. The premises of the book is simply this. Him and his family are getting ready to go to a new solar system and a new planet, and they're going to be part of a ship that is going to be not necessarily terraforming, but colonizing a new world. To do that, they have to get from point A to point B, which is from inside of our solar system to the other side of our solar system outside the Kuiper Belt, so that they can go into their version of almost faster than light travel to jump themselves all the way across. So to do that, of course, it's going to take hundreds of years. And so they all go into these little sleep capsules or stasis pods or whatever you want to refer to them. 100 years later, they wake up where they're supposed to be. Simple enough story. The thing about this book is that it is a simple story. It doesn't really have a whole lot of hi-ya to it. Now, I'm not trashing the book either. I can tell that this is something that was wrote for younger people, and it would be a fun book to read as a younger person because Zero G does get the better of some pirates. Yes, space pirates. Meets a girl, falls for the girl, and also ends up being the hero by the end of the book. The story progression from point A to point B is good. There's a lot of, if not exaggerated, okay dialogue between characters. And that's the thing about it. I wouldn't recommend this to you guys and gals on a average everyday read, because if you were to pick up the book and read it, it wouldn't be such a strong thing. A second thing to know is more about Audible. This is not sponsored. The Audible Originals comes into play if you happen to be a member of Audible. Now, the Audible Originals, originally it was the channels, and then they switched the app around a lot, and now it's the Audible Originals. It seems to be a lot different. And the reason why I'm saying that is it isn't just a short story that has to do with the genre. It's moreover that they're taking a book and then doing a complete production around that book. The reason why I chose Zero G as the one for us to talk about on that is this. It's just a mediocre book. It's not something that would fly off the shelves, I don't think. And they put a lot of production value into making this book into a enjoyable audio experience. This thing has a cast list in it like a 90s television series. There's a lot of people that were involved, and they did a really good job. So much so that they transformed that book. Again, not trashing the original content, not doing that. But it's not something that I would have picked up on my own and gave it a go. Because, no. Even if they're just my own standards, that makes no sense to anybody else. I've got standards. The cast, the crew, the production team, the overseers of the project, they did such an excellent job. There's little splashes of music here and there. I could have swore there was a couple of sound effects that I heard too. But with those voice actors that were in there, in between Nix, Zero G, and his father, his mother, the spaceship's AI, which is only a navigational AI, actually worked out really well in that kind of a format. So here's the crux of the situation. My question to you guys and gals is this. Would we really want to have mediocre books turn into high production quality that are really enjoyable in that regard? Or would that unique experience be something that would become void over time because of the lack of substance? There it is. That's the question. Now, if they were to take, for instance, the last Pendergast book and do that in this way, the guy that reads for Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child, Rene Augenbaugh, I think it is. I never say his name right. Aubergenois. That guy is such a phenomenal narrator. And I full on support Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. Anytime that they have a new Pendergast book, I've got a little formulation of my own where I get the hard copy because I enjoy reading that hard copy of that book. But I also get the audio book of it. I know it's strange why I get both, but there's a reason why I get both for myself. It's for my own personal enjoyment, one, but also it supports artists. And that's really important to me, being that I am a creative in a lot of ways. But it has to do with this. The tones that I assign to the book first. I want to see if those are the same tones that get produced or get put into the book by the narrator. See if what I felt is the same thing that they're feeling. That's a fun little thing for me. I'm an odd character, I know, but it's the truth of the situation. So if they were to take that book that Renee did and made a high production quality Audible original out of that, one, I would hope that they would keep him in there as the main narrator or the voice of Pendergast or something, because he's such a good reader. What if they did something like that to Brandon Sanderson, The Way of the King? That would be a very epic book to do this way. What would you feel about it? Would it be a thing that would be a positive or a negative if they stuck to their high quality production value that they've been putting into smaller things? So I'm curious to know, what's your opinion on it? It was because of that high production value, they took that and transformed it into something completely different. Everything was really just on cue and made it so much more than what it was just on the pages. They did do a transformative work on this and took it from something that I would have returned to something that I actually listened to and enjoyed. But I'm wondering how many more of those it would take before I got to the point where I was like, nah, don't care. What if there was a whole cast of those incredible narrators doing these books, and they were given not free reign to change words or anything like that, but given free reign to do the performances and actually have it more of a thespianistic type of a thing where it is a production? I think that if it's done with a little bit of class and style and they give the appropriate people the appropriate things, that the Audible originals might be something to look into in the future. If they do start taking books that have more depth and more substance to them and doing this kind of a process to them, that would be something to behold. This is Shane with Shane's Books and Review. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys and gals on Monday. Till then, here's my hope that you have a wonderful weekend.